Hello, my name is Vince. I want to thank Carson for the opportunity to talk about my experiences. I think I had a near-death experience when I was a baby, but I don't remember it. But I did have one midlife crisis, you might say. And that one I remember I was fully conscious. And by the way, they use the term near-death experience, but a more common expression is STE, spiritually transformative experience. And I like to think that that's a better label for these events. Anyway, I had been divorced and dating another woman. We were together for a few years, deeply in love with her. But she was from a wealthy family and I was kind of poor. I was running my own business and it really hadn't taken off yet. Anyway, because of the poor childhood, I had very low self-esteem. My self-image was just kind of in the basement there. And so while we were together, she really helped me with my business and encouraged me. But one day, suddenly, she left me for another man, and I was devastated. My whole house of cards seemed to collapse, and I was crying. She had come over that Monday, see if we could patch things up, but it just didn't work, and I knew it was totally over so quickly and hard to take that I went into my room. I was crying, and I just gave up. I said, God, I'm in your hands now. There's nothing else I can do. I was crying. And you know when you cry and you look at a light, there was a lamppost outside my window, and through teary eyes, the lamppost had streaks of light coming out of it. And one of them came into my chest. It became more solid, and I looked down, and all I could see was a shell. I had no body, but my heart was there, and this beam was shining on my heart. And that was the first of several incidents. At the time, I was thinking I just wanted to die and disappear, but dying is one thing, but I was not suicidal. Suicide takes energy and motivation. I was way, way down in my motivation level. I wasn't thinking of that. Anyway, this beam comes into my chest, and then I look up and 3 red orbs, sparkling red like red road flares, about the size of softballs, and they're floating around. They go into my corner of my room and they say, "We've got something to show you." See, they were like sentient. Seemed like people. I thought later they're probably angels because they brought me a message. And they pulled down a screen. The screen became like a window, a portal. I could see through it. And the first thing I saw was myself sitting on a chair. And the chair had a little block of wood under it. And so I could rock on the chair back and forth and get my balance that way. And then a foot came along and kicked out the block, and it's symbolic because now I'm stable, I'm steady, I'm on level ground. And the next thing I saw was a tree with lights around it, and just like the red orbs, I felt that they were souls. They came to watch what was happening here. Then I saw, I was over Egypt, and I zoomed down to the Great Pyramid of Giza, and I could see the pyramid, and on top of it was another pyramid exactly like it, only the point was down, and it was rotating and just about to touch the top of the stone pyramid. And that just went away suddenly, and I found myself over Africa. I was in Ethiopia. I'm looking down on a jungle hut. There's a thatched roof hut, and I go through the roof, and I can see inside is a really emaciated, ugly black woman, and she was dying of hunger. And a voice said, you know, you could marry this woman and be just as happy as with the girlfriend that you just broke up with. And because of the lights and seeing, the lights were around the tree were like people, but they were all perfectly equal. And because of that sense of equality, I knew at the time I could marry this woman at AES and be happy. Can't understand it now, but at the time it made perfect sense. And then, because my business was struggling, I wanted to buy a suit and go to the Chamber of Commerce where I lived and join the other businessmen and see if I could make connections and pass off as a real businessman. Although my self-esteem was so low, I thought, I'm just pulling the wool over their eyes. But anyway, a voice said, listen, I know you're thinking about getting a suit. Get the best suit that you can afford. Not that it's going to make you anything, but it's appropriate for your business. And if you can't afford a suit, wear whatever rags or clothing you have. I know you hold your head up high because you are my son and I love you. And that changed 40 years of low self-esteem. And by the way, there's a school of thought that says these things are all just in your head, that you can take chemicals like ayahuasca or ketamine and get the same effects. But the real near-death experience, you have tremendous after effects. Like for me, the feeling that all souls are totally equal, that there's a God who loves you. There was no doubt. Before that, I thought it was a nice theory, but no, I really felt that God is real and he loves us. The feeling of tremendous love from the Creator. And like I said, also a feeling that we're all equal. I can talk to anybody now. I'm CEO or a scholar or whatever, and I don't feel bad. And you get all these funny gifts as an after effect. Like I could sense energy. Like one time I went to a gas station and there were flowers. A gas station is usually dirty and greasy, but this one had flowers on it. And I'm looking at, wow, beautiful flower, maybe 20, 30 pots of flowers, of red flowers. And as I look at them, boom, there's this flash of blue light. And I felt it was spirit. And I look, and it's gone right away. I look up and the gas station owner is coming out of the door. And I said, there's a spirit here, isn't there? He says, yeah, my wife. She died a year ago. She's been talking to me, told me to put the flowers out here. She helps me with the business. Wow, it's that kind of thing. So anyway, it had a real after effect for me. And although it was a tragic breakup, I really benefited from the experience. So don't worry if something tragic hits you. It probably has tremendous spiritual events. Thanks again. Thanks for listening to me.